Let's be real, we all have our favorites, and even though we know they would lose in certain situations, we still inhale that copium to convince ourselves that they would win against something that's just superior. And this matchup is honestly that. Aside from Zeb versus other dinosaurs, one of the most popular matchups people seem to argue about is the Spinosaurus and Indominus Rex. But let's be honest, each of you know the outcome of this fight. Nevertheless, let's do a full-on analysis of the two most powerful theropods in the Jurassic saga. Both utilize their forearms more than any other megatheropod in the franchise and have a thing for gripping the necks of T-Rexes when they want to finish the fight with one. Before we start the video, I just want to thank you guys and God for the support in this channel. I honestly thought I'd have to wait until next year for the channel to even reach 100k, but it looks like at the very latest October will be the month we get that silver button. Is it silver? I don't know what color it is for the 100k. Whatever it is, want to do something for the big milestone, so leave any suggestions you'd like to see. Or just join the Discord and let me know what you'd like to see there. Speaking of the Discord, if you draw, like creating hybrids or even making maps, then you're gonna love the server. We have events all the time for everyone to take part in, and hey, if you can't draw to save your life, that's fine. You could just yap about anything prehistoric with me and your fellow channel members. So with yet another shameless plug over, let's get on with the video. Alright, so we're going to be comparing the overall stats of each combatant before putting them up against each other. And since I'm biased, we're going to start off with my favorite dinosaur in the franchise, Acid 87. Ah yes, the most loved and hated dinosaur in the franchise. The Spinosaurus was the very first T-Rex killer in the saga, and since it was the first, the community couldn't stop crying after the neck snap. However, there's going to be something I have to change for this matchup. In Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus was between 8.2 and 8.4 tons, which is huge, but at this size the match wouldn't be fair, let's be honest, and considering what he's up against, I have to give him as much as an advantage as possible. So we're going to be using his calm Cretaceous size, but his feats from the movie in 2001 will be used for this comparison. In terms of strength, I don't think I have to spend too long on this section. He tore a plane to shreds, and on numerous occasions manhandled adult T-Rexes as though they were his children. He held an adult bull T-Rex in place and snapped its neck, and in calm Cretaceous, he dragged the big ET around and fractured her neck. Not with his hands, but with his bite force alone, which is a bit unusual for a theropod that's supposed to have the weakest bite force for his size class. Also, that was a weird thing I noticed. If we compare 87's skull from 2001 to calm Cretaceous, you can see just how much more wide it's gotten. Like, I can't be the only one who sees that, right? I mean, yeah, he's gotten 2 tons heavier at 10 tons, but his head shape had a significant change. Now it genuinely looks like the mouth of a crocodile. But apart from that, some overlooked feats of power this guy has shown was bursting through a canyon wall and holding an industrial sliding door open for a few seconds. Even though he had to let go, the fact that he could push back 6 tons or more with a single hand for a few seconds is some insane strength. Alright, so we know how strong this guy is. I mean, he is a T-Rex killer after all, but the best thing Acid 87 is known for, to be honest, is his durability and endurance. The guy got shot with heavy artillery from the mercenaries and didn't show so much as a limp. Not to mention his insane immunity to the bites of the franchise's T-Rexes apparently. How in the world does an adult T-Rex grab your neck, slam you onto the ground with all of its might, and all you have to show from the bite is a few bruises with hardly any blood shown? And even when Big E.T. got her get back when 87 just regained consciousness, our boy didn't show a single bruise from the stronger Rex, even after being slammed into a tree. You know what, forget the bites. How in the world is that thing still able to take 10 tons of weight and not shatter? Because when Big E.T. made him roll over, that thing did not have so much as a dent. Aside from that, the dude got struck in his hind legs by an airplane, and all that's left from the interaction is a small gash. So unless you have armor piercing rounds, I don't know what you're gonna use to even put this guy down, but enough about durability, let's get into the endurance of this colossus. Not a single dinosaur in the entirety of Jurassic Park or world hates us more than this guy. He is the moustache man of dinosaurs. I mean, it is somewhat granted considering what humans put him through in his youth and even adulthood once they recaptured him, but I swear it's not that serious. He got shot multiple times, then chased Cooper. After that, he got hit by a plane that tracked down said plane and tore it apart, where he then chased the cast for a decent distance and not soon after, had a full-blown fight with an adult T-Rex. He went through all that without a break, by the way. The only time he takes one was when he killed the Rex, because even he couldn't chase anyone after that marathon. But a few hours later, he was back on that demon time and proceeded to track everyone down the entire map, no matter where they went. It took a literal wall of fire to deter him long enough for everyone to escape. Hell, in calm Cretaceous, they placed him in the worst possible biome for a semi-aquatic animal, a literal desert, and he still had the energy to run for miles to execute any human he sensed in the area. When it comes to his speed, he's one of the fastest despite being so large. Not young Rexy fast, but for something that weighs 10 tons, it's terrifyingly fast. His IQ is about average. He can understand when to back down and assess certain situations that would require him to back down again, but his battle IQ is the best in the franchise. No other mega theropod has as much battle experience as him. The only other theropod Rexy has fought her size was the Indominus 14 years later, while the Spinosaurus was fighting Rexes far before then and even after he has fought raptors, carnos, etc. Only Zeb possibly could have had a similar amount of battle experience, but that's only if he's somehow the gig in the prologue, which he more than likely isn't. So I think that's enough about the Red Death. Let's see the abilities of the Caucasian monster. The Indominus Rex was meant to be the ultimate predator, a bioengineered animal that was 10 tons and more than 50 feet. Well, at least she would have been if she reached adulthood, because during the events of Jurassic World she was a little under 9 tons. Still bigger than Acid 87 in Jurassic Park 3 though, so I think you see why I had to use our boy when he was maxed out in Camp Cretaceous. Now Acid 87 has some powerful arms, there's no question about that. I mean, he snapped a T-Rex's neck like butter, but the Indominus Rex has arms that looks like a gym bro who got that she's busy text. Her triceps are crazy. This thing with one hand waved her limb and sent a truck airborne for more than 3 seconds. And the thing is that she wasn't even trying. Unlike the Spinosaurus, she just seems to be unfazed by the powers of industrial gates. Because even with 2 bull African elephants worth of weight closing around her, she manages to just break it and not receive any damage. Her ramming strength is pretty good too. Without much effort, she broke through the bullet resistant glass of the aviary. And even though at first Rexy was getting the upper hand, all it took was one of her hands to be on Rexy's shoulder to seal the deal. She went full out a pimp named Slickback on that T-Rex and easily put it to the ground. And she would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for the Jurassic World writers and their meddling dog. This perfectly aligns with her durability and endurance as well, because even after being slammed into buildings and having a super raptor tear into her, she still is willing to stand on business. I mean, you could literally see the iron sticking out of her skin. Look, even the Mosasaur couldn't kill her easily. More than 40 tons of aquatic reptile came crashing down on her neck and she still didn't die. The Leviathan had to drag her under the water to actually kill her. Like the Spinosaurus, it seems that you may need armor piercing rounds for her as well, because both you and I watched as Owen shot her over and over with his rifle and she didn't even react. Even the most bone crushing weapon on land couldn't stop her, because that Ankylosaurus club to the face just shook her up a little bit and did nothing more. I will say though that her battle intelligence isn't all of that, which is expected because she has never seen the outside world before and only interacted with the food crane for 99% of her life. But she makes up for this in raw IQ and manipulation. She tricked humans on numerous occasions. The first was making claw marks on her enclosure walls and then camouflaging in some vegetation to make it seem as though she escaped, and then later on she took out her tracker and placed it in the open while she hid in the foliage until the SWAT team came in so she could murk them. Still don't even know how she knew that's what people use to keep tabs on her location. With her superior intelligence, she can come up with quick solutions to problems as well. When Masrani was on her tail, she broke into the aviary and purposely drove the pterosaurs out to distract the helicopter, which worked better than expected because this actually brought down the aircraft. Then there's her using other dinosaurs for her own personal gain. She basically threatened Toro in Camp Cretaceous. She broke him out, but in exchange he had to kill the campers. And if he refused, I think you know what would have happened. And the raptors were just collateral she could use to escape because she knew she'd be put down if that mini army focused on her. So she convinced the raptors to turn on their allies so some of the heat could come off of her, and it worked. I mean, she caught a few stray bullets and soaked up the aftershock of an explosion, but she was free for the most part while the raptors distracted the humans on her behalf. And when the same raptors went against their wishes, she tried to kill the leader, then killed the remaining 2. On a side note, one of the funniest scenes to me was when Blue started to attack a spot on the Indominus where it couldn't reach her, and the hybrid just crashed out. Like the Spinosaurus, her speed is alright. I mean, a really fast person or someone with plot armor could outrun her, but she's not very slow. So then, with all the feats and statements on the table, how would this interaction go? Well, there's no chance of peace because the Spinosaurus is too aggressive and the Indominus thinks that she's unstoppable. The Spinosaurus right off the bat has a little over a ton as a weight advantage and would be slightly stronger generally, but the Indominus would take raw arm strength. Her arms are larger and more powerful than even his, if we compare feats, but not by a lot. And I forgot to mention this, but the Indominus has a devastating bite force. It is so strong that it pierced the gyrosphere, which could withstand at least 60,000 newtons. However, Acid 87's thick hide should allow him to tank a few bites. He also has more durability than the hybrid in general because from all the fights he's been in, he hasn't shown as much wear and tear compared to that of the Indominus. The Indominus won't be able to use some of her abilities like camouflage because this is a head-on confrontation, so the Spinosaurus would take battle intelligence and the hybrid raw IQ, because he would know what areas to target specifically, while she could come up with a quick way to get herself out of most situations. As for the neck snap thing, I'm sorry fellow Spino fans, he doesn't have a chance of doing that. It's not that he isn't strong enough to do it because he is, it's that he can't do it and stay in one piece. When he's fighting the T-Rex, they only have their mouths as the main weapon, so when you grab their head, there's not much they could do besides probably shake you off. If he tries and grab the Indominus by her neck, she immediately will do the exact same thing she did to Rexy, which is bring out those sickles with claws and just start tearing. With her power and just how sharp they are, even Acid 87 would be forced to let go. Imagine someone sliding daggers into your skin during a fight. You'd be forced to let go, let's be honest. And even though his sail isn't as fragile, it still would be a potential weak point the hybrid would try to exploit. It would be a bloody match, but I think her quick thinking and abilities would give her the edge in the fight. Because she isn't going to just stand still and let him bite her neck. She is going to rip into him, and he has more weak points that she could target. He might be a little stronger overall, but she takes the edge in certain abilities that would matter. I will say though that the video title is low-key clickbait because the fight would be kinda close, as the Indom would likely win with high difficulty. Because after she kills 87, she's gonna need to sit down and try not to die from her injuries, more than likely. While in real life size usually matters with animals, in fiction this isn't the end all be all. And a 1-ton advantage isn't enough to give Acid 87 the dub against such a hyper aggressive hybrid that was made to specifically kill. So yeah folks, while the Spinosaurus is a powerful force in the saga and my favorite, even he can't compete with the Indominus Rex, and if she was fully grown the fight would be even worse for him. As for if it was him in Jurassic Park 3 instead of Camp Cretaceous against her, she'd probably body him because she would be bigger and stronger, but thanks to his growth spurt in Camp Cretaceous, he's able to make her push past her limits to win the fight. But that's just about it for this one folks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.